So what we're going to be talking about, a few things. And please, as I always say, the webinars are really important for me that they're interactive. We interact. So please feel free to ask any questions. As long as I can answer them, I'll do what I can. If I don't get back to you at the moment that you ask them, I will eventually definitely go through all the questions, all the comments you have. Okay, so here we're going to be talking about chapter 4, which is literally page 113, 114 in the book, and it's about you and your surroundings. Now, you don't have to necessarily buy the book, but kind of what I'm doing is I'm reviewing a lot of the content in the book and hopefully creating some questions around it. The book is called The Question. It is about finding your true purpose. And I've already explained why I've come to this conclusion. But I think basically that the bottom line is that one of the most important things that we can learn and must learn, and we do learn for those that are NLP trained, is about thinking, about understanding the quality of our thoughts and making sure that we make those thoughts empowering. And a great, strong way of making sure that we are proactive and reaching our purpose is by asking empowering questions. So this is my take on what was missing in personal professional growth. And then I also believe that by you becoming the best version of yourself, which you are obliged to, okay, I believe you're obliged to, then ultimately we will make the world a better place and we will deal with the issues that we have on the planet. And there's a lot. And one of the things that ultimately I hope to help with this book and asking yourself empowering questions is for you to understand what you're passionate about and what your purpose is. And then if you do that, then ultimately you'll leave a legacy. There's no good in attending courses and seminars if you don't implement a lot of the things, but if you don't necessarily know how to think, you're going to struggle. So we're going to start with you and your surroundings. And obviously we talk about your body and how you feel. Look, one of the things that I haven't got all the answers, okay? I've never said that I have. I have lots of questions, but I do have obviously experience of living on the planet and having had ups and downs and having struggled with, different things. I'm Spanish. I love food. So I have eaten a lot. I love sitting around the table. I used to love sitting down with my family and having a meal and talking. I love that, making food and cooking and shopping. And, I've been brought up that way. So I appreciate the importance of food and understanding. But I also appreciate that sometimes, we haven't got the same metabolism that we did when we were younger. And we can't necessarily burn the calories that we did when we were younger. I was one of those. I could eat anything and everything, and then I'd never put any weight. And then eventually, I started looking at my photos, and I did realize that kind of I was putting a little bit of weight on, or quite a lot, and kind of I wasn't really feeling happy with myself. One of the things that I really believe that we need to do in personal and professional growth and in life, I think, is we need to be congruent. We need to be congruent with our message. I feel there's so many people out there that are completely incongruent. They talk, I don't know, they write books about happiness and they're really unhappy people. Or they talk about how you can change your life in 3 days and they've lived the same life for 33 years. I don't know. There's so many examples like that people that don't necessarily walk the talk. So one of the things that the book did for me was made me ask some empowering questions, which I really wrote for you guys, for the readers. But obviously I was asking myself these empowering questions and I wasn't very happy with kind of where I was. So it made me make some decisions that I didn't necessarily want to address. And one of them was obviously about my weight, about how did I feel, and how could I become, or how could I be kind of like, the founder of the best you and talk this talk if I wasn't necessarily congruent with my own message. So I've been very careful about that. And for those of you that know me or have seen me for the last 10 years, yes, I have lost my hair. That's not my fault. There's not a lot I could have done or could do about that. But I did put on a little bit of weight. And I have lost a lot of weight in the last year. I'm exercising. I've got a completely different regime to what I used to do. So, I've done that and I understand that. So I'm going to share some of those. But I think, kind of moving onto life and kind of your journey ahead, kind of the questions, you should be asking yourself if you're not happy is, how can I become better? What food should I eat? Again, I think I haven't got it here today, but I would highly recommend that you have a pad and then on that pad, you literally just write down, I've got any pad, but basically I would just have a white pad, call it the question, and then literally on every page, not every page, but every other page, ask yourself on one specific subject, put the title right at the top, and then starting asking yourself empowering questions related to that subject, because those questions might come related to that subject. You might come up with other questions you want to ask yourself. So for example, if it's feeling fit, well, then you could say, how could I become fitter? What type of exercise would I like doing? What will I look like once I exercise? How often would I exercise? Realistically, how much weight could I lose? If I exercise, how much better am I going to feel in 1 year from now? You get my point. So basically, if you did that in a pad and you did one related to weight, you did one related to your job, your new job, to writing your book, whatever it is, you can have 50, 60, 70, 100 subjects and just basically have the title at the top and then just on every line start writing questions. So these questions in particular, you know, what food should I eat? Should I try fasting? I would recommend that. I'll talk a little bit more about that. What exercise should I do? How would I feel if I did? And this is a really important question. Ask yourself, have I given up? Have you given up? I've said this before, I'm going to repeat some of these things, but what I said is that there's three types of people. Those that have given up in life, and they might be 35, but they've given up. They've given up because they keep on doing the same things. They expect different results. They don't push. They just want to, they go to the gym, but they don't want to sweat, or they sign up to the gym and they only go a month, or, you know, they want to lose weight, but they only diet or eat properly for a week. I don't know, but there's lots of that. And that for me is giving up. So unless you're pushing yourself permanently, pushing yourself permanently, really feeling uncomfortable and feeling the boundaries, well, you've given up. The second, excuse me, the second group would be those that procrastinate a lot. Talk about it, read a book. Sorry, they read a book, they attend the seminars, they talk about doing all these things, and then they don't necessarily implement it. Excuse me. And the third one is those that literally have the ones we look up to. Those are the three types of people that I believe they're out there. So the question is, how fit would you like to be? Make an assessment on your body and your mind. Would be one of the things that I would do. And you know, do you wake up in the morning? Do you feel tired? Do you feel like you carry on too much weight? Do you feel that your movement is restricted due to the lack of exercise? And let me say something to you. You might be very happy with that, and it might be not something that's a priority to you, and that's fine by me. I'm just asking you a question. What would happen if you carry on doing the same thing, and then maybe in 5 or 6 or maybe 3 years from now, you would have a disease, or you would have something that would be a direct impact of you not taking care of it now or not worrying about it now? How would it feel if, for example, your kids could not be with you or support you or be around you because you gave up? I don't know. I'll just leave it there with you. So exercise is the first step in order to be able to kind of like improve in your life and live a more fulfilled life. I think obviously, you know, exercising is important without a doubt. Without a doubt. As I said, we haven't got the metabolism, and exercising, you know, there's a lot of things that you can do, but it's obviously around, you know, there's all sorts of things that you can do, and you don't have to run 2,000 miles, you know, you don't have to run a marathon. But what I would also say is that, you know, it's whatever type of exercise or fitness you do, dancing, yoga, the gym, cycling, you know, there's all sorts of great activities. And how do you start? Well, you can start as everyone else starts. You can start with an exercise regime. I'll tell you that I found it very weird and very strange, but I did. Sorry, some of you are saying that the sound has dropped. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I hope that's okay. The internet might not be great. I hope you can. Do let me know if you can't. But one of the things that I thought was really weird was about exercising in front of a computer. And I signed up to a program called Beachbody On Demand. It's only $69, and they've got the most ridiculous amount of programs on there. You know, yoga, exercise, you know, kind of weights, all sorts of things. I mean, I did one that's called T25. I believe in I believe from what I've read, high intensity exercise is the trend, or has been a trend for a long time. Short bursts of exercising. It's not about doing hours and hours. It's about pushing your heart. It's about pushing, you know, what you do, and doing it for short bursts and doing it daily, on a daily basis. So that's one of the things. But one of the things is walking. I love walking. I'm not sure how many of you love walking, but I find walking so helpful. First of all, it's being in contact with nature. There was some really interesting data on the BBC that's saying that some kids spend less time outdoors than people in prison. which is terrible. So being in touch with nature is good for you. It's good for your mind. It's good for your brain. And I get it that, you know, sometimes maybe for us that live in London, it might be a bit more difficult because it's grey, but still, you know, walking. So for example, there's many examples on the book. We talk about Aristotle. He was a philosopher, obviously, who used to do and used to love walking. Charles Dickens used to walk, you know, from 9 in the morning until the early afternoon. He sometimes used to struggle from insomnia. He used to walk at night. Albert Einstein used to have long walks on the beach to kind of explore ideas in his mind. I believe and I love walking. For me, what it's done, I used to use it as a technique when I needed to write, when I'm having a really, I don't know, like a tough day or hard day, or, you know, I'm struggling with certain things that I'm asking myself. I take those opportunities to ask myself empowering questions while I'm walking. And I can't tell you the amount of times that you know, you start coming up with the answers and the solutions. And one of the things that I would highly recommend is that you either take a little recorder or just simply make a quick voice note or a note on your note, or just when you come back, start writing them down, because, you know, you can really flow with ideas. Krishna is saying long walks really help me think, stop overthinking and have a better clarity. Absolutely. So finding what the right exercise for you is as important as exercising. Brisk walking is even more healthy. Yeah, absolutely. You know, that they were saying that actually, funny enough, the 10,000 steps routine, which is not bad for you. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad for you, but it looks like it was actually a marketing campaign. They're saying that you're better off in doing 3,000 steps, but high intensity has maybe better effect than the 10,000 steps, but it's high intensity. It's getting your blood going. So I would start there, and then I would really start exploring what you're interested in. I'm telling you, I started doing this high intensity course. I did 5 weeks alpha, 5 weeks beta, 5 weeks gamma, T25, so it's called 25 minutes every single day. And I have to tell you, I lost so much weight. I feel fitter now than I felt even in my mid 30s. I used to exercise a lot in my mid 26, 25, but finding what helps you. So your mind and your body, focusing on your mind and body together will also pay off in different ways. Many people find the stress in their lives is relieved by exercises like yoga, Tai Chi, you know, whatever it may be. Yoga is obviously a great type of exercise. I've done a little bit of yoga. I've got to say I haven't mastered it. It's something I definitely want to do. I can see the advantages of exercising. There's a story here that I show in the book with Arthur Borman. He was a US war veteran who was crippled in the Gulf War and was told by doctors that he would never walk unassisted again. So for 15 years, Borman listened to their advice, gaining weight and living a limited, unhappy life. But then at the age of 47, Borman discovered DDP yoga and began to train. The YouTube video traces his steady recovery as he learned to retrain his muscles to compensate for this injury. He was 297 pounds when he started, and within 10 months, he shed off 140 pounds and was able to perform incredible feats of yoga and to run unassisted. So that's Borman. You can find him on YouTube, and it's DDP yoga. Obviously, yoga helps also for PTSD. There's many different variations of yoga. Eating right is important. There's absolutely no doubt. Look, there's so many people. I love food. Love food. But obviously, I've realized over the years that, you know, you can't eat bread. You can't eat carbs all the time. You've got to have more salads. You've got to have, and then, hey, listen, once a week, you know, well, you know, eat what you want if you wanted to. But I definitely believe that there's so much that you can do with eating well. I discovered the keto diet thanks to my son, basically 18 months ago. So I started fasting, and what I did, and I've never done this in my life, for me, breakfast was the most important lunch, the most important meal ever. I started the keto diet, which is basically the ketosis. And what it means is that, you know, by you eating less, obviously, because first of all, it's thought that, well, it's thought, their studies show that we do not need to eat 3 meals a day. We don't. And especially if you don't do the amount of exercise that you used to do when you're younger. So with 2 meals a day, so I literally have a long fast, which finishes at around 8 o'clock in the evening. I eat twice a day. I eat maybe 1 o'clock, and then I eat again at 8, maybe 9, and then I don't eat again till 1 o'clock. And then from my last meal, I have nothing. Just water, tea, coffee, water, tea, coffee. And it's just that period of fasting between the night and the next morning. And I exercise every single morning. And I thought you needed to eat after exercise. You don't. I exercise. I do 25 minutes pretty much every day now, every other day now. But I used to do it every single day for like 16, 18 months. But I do it at least 3 times a week. And eating right is obviously one of the main things that you do. And the fact is that you need to take action now. You know, kind of, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can get a stroke at the age of 35, 38, 40. I am using this anchor now, which is I say, and we do this at the Legacy Club. So if you just visualize that here, you have a countdown. You have a countdown. We're all mortals, and we have a countdown here. The fact is, we can't necessarily see it because we can't see it, but it's there. If you think that there's an anchor there and there's a countdown that's telling you how long you've got on this planet, unfortunately or fortunately, we can't actually see it or read it, which might be a good thing. But remember, it's there. Remember, it's there. If you remember it's there, it's basically going to remind you that you're mortal. It's going to remind you that you need to take action. You need to stop lying to yourself, and you need to make sure that you start taking care of yourself. You don't do it for yourself. Make sure you do it for your kids, for your grandkids. So I think obviously the problem, you look at obesity nowadays, and it is down to the fact of, you know, kind of how, you know, we eat. I think with Paul McKenna's, you know, I Can Make You Thin, his diet or his program, literally what it is just about teaching people how to eat consciously. And what it is about chewing your food, putting your knife and fork down. We used to have that, where we used to sit around the table and we used to eat with the family. Now we're in front of the television, so we were eating unconsciously. It's not good for you. So eating consciously is important, eating slowly, eating slow. And I would recommend, if you can, try it, read about it. I would recommend, if you could, fast. So let's talk about your mind. We've talked about your body. Now let's talk about your mind. And here we're going to discuss a couple of things related to honesty, ego, breathing, how you think, how to change your thoughts, the power of visualization, and the law of attraction. And we're going to end with gratitude. So I know some of you are quite familiar with me. Ayurveda actually recommends fast 1 day a week. Fasting is detoxing. We can constantly shuffle in. Perfect, Michael. Yeah, thank you. I completely agree. I have to tell you, I've got lots of energy. Touch wood. I've always had a lot of energy. I feel very blessed and honored that I've had that energy. I've always worked very hard, long hours. But one of the things that they say happens with fasting is that you get rid of your brain fog. I never knew what that meant. I never knew what that meant because I never thought I had brain fog. And I've never had brain fog. But you know what? Once I started fasting, I realized the clarity that I have in my head in the morning, how conscious I am of what I'm doing, and how aware of them, and the energy that I have. I have never felt better since I started fasting. So for me, it's been a phenomenal, eye-opening opportunity. And obviously, as you pointed out, fasting is not only part of many sports, exercises, yogas, it's also part of many religions as well, where they recommend that you should fast. And there's a reason for that. So, okay, let's go back to your mind. Honesty. Now, a lot of you may know or may not know that I'm pretty straightforward, okay? I don't beat around the bush. I call it as it is. And the first thing that I want to bring up about honesty is that honesty is a rare commodity. I really feel that a lot of people struggle with honesty. In the Best You Legacy clubs, this is how we do it. We say, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I need some help with. And then what happens is the feedback you get from the other people around the table, you say, this is what I love, this is what I didn't love so much, this is what I would do differently. Now, we do the love bit, but we also give them honesty. And everything we do in the room, we do from a place of love and honesty. The first thing you have to do is be honest with yourself. I struggle with people that procrastinate. I struggle with people that, you know, set these goals in their mind and set these objectives in life and talk to themselves about all these amazing things that they do, and they never get around to it. They never get around to it. And the reason is because they're not being honest with themselves. So the first thing is, do me a favor, please, from now on, listen to that internal dialogue, listen to what you're saying to yourself and be honest. So that's the first thing. And I believe that for a lot of people, honesty is an empty word. And in the West, we struggle to be totally, authentically honest. We prefer to use white lies instead of upsetting someone with the truth. Now, I've had that. But the thing is, I know a lot of you probably, hopefully, have friends. And, you know, the great thing about great close friends is that they can be brutally honest. But isn't that what we need? We all need some honesty. So the first thing is be honest with yourself. And one of the hashtags that I use is sorry, hashtag sorry, not sorry. And look, when I say something, I always say it from a place of love, and I always insist, hello, whatever. If you're asking me for my honest opinion, I'm going to give it to you. And if you want me to give you a little white light, I can do that right now as well. Tell me what you want. And then I just give it to them. And obviously it's going to be based on my reality. Hey, listen, what I might be saying might be completely wrong. But if you're asking me for my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion, which is based on what I believe. So I believe first thing is be honest with yourself. And second thing is if you coach, train, help people, be honest with them. Dishonesty isn't always deliberate. Maybe you aren't even aware of how dishonest you are with yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not happy with what you see or what you do. Do you change the subject and think about something else? Or do you ask yourself a set of questions? The questions that you need to, an honest answer. Am I honest with others? Can I handle the truth? Am I happy with the way things are? What do I want that is different from now? How do I get that different thing instead of this? What is the first thing I need to do to make whatever it is happen? Do I keep coming up with excuses? Am I willing to take responsibility for the things out of my control? Do I believe I am going to do it? I don't know. These are self-empowering questions you need to ask yourself. Ask yourself. They might hurt, but that's the whole point, isn't it? So the questions above are useful of all sorts of problems. It just depends on how you want to use them. But you might object with some of the answers, but I think it's only by you being honest with yourself you're going to move forward. So start looking, start asking, research, ask for advice. Ask for a friend, ask a friend, but I think there's a lot of the things that you probably already know yourself. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, you're deciding not to take action. Pradeep is saying that being honest about our feelings and emotions, not hiding behind them. Absolutely. 100%. And you know why sometimes we're not honest? Because we have an ego. And this is kind of what I'm moving on to next. So a lot of people have egos. We've heard of them. Oh my God, he's got such a big ego, or oh my God, he's an egocentric. Look, I don't think ego is a bad thing. It's just keeping your ego in control, or under control. We at the Best Legacy Clubs, again, when people attend, we have a sign outside that says no ego. Why? Because look, if you're asking me for my honest opinion and I'm giving it to you and I'm giving you some valuable feedback, what you should be doing is making some notes. Not giving me feedback on the feedback. Because if you're giving me feedback on the feedback, it's basically your ego telling me, no, hold on, excuse me, let me just clarify what I was trying to say. Ego speaking. I mean, how many of you can hear an ego before you hear anything else? All right, so control that ego, manage that ego. And in the old-fashioned psychology, the ego is often presented as the conscious, the reality-driven part of yourself that appears to be logical and realistic, but it's actually responding to deep instinctual and emotional drives. My own view is that you should not try to eradicate the ego. Instead, we perform a balancing act. After all, the ego is also part of you. It thinks, acts, discriminates, and decides. The skill then is managing your ego, using it for your purposes, for the right purposes, while at the same time being connected into a deeper level of yourself. That way you can act and think with all the wise information of deeper parts of yourself to guide you. And it's very simple. Disassociate yourself from yourself. So if there's something that you might find challenging, or someone saying something to you that might be a little bit hurtful, that, oh, is she right or is he right? Then disassociate from yourself and just look at yourself and just listen to yourself and see yourself. What are you saying? How are you acting? Are you being honest? Is it the ego speaking? You should be able to identify it very clearly if you're honest. So you want your ego and be strong, but also you need to be flexible. Your breathing is the next thing. So my last comment on the ego is just control it, okay? Do not let the ego be in control of you. I work with a lot of people in the personal professional growth industry who I promote, who I've worked with, and I can tell you there's some big egos out there. There's some big egos out there. And again, the word congruent, being congruent with your message is imperative, is essential. If you're in the business of helping people, be open, be helpful, be present, be aware of how you're managing yourself, how you're handling yourself. And it's not just about standing or posing for a photograph. It's just about making sure that you go out your way and you do what you can. You're breathing. So when you focus on breathing in the style of like the Buddhists do, sitting comfortably and maintaining a gentle meditative state, it can be a powerful psychological um, way of obviously, you know, understanding your being. It's saying that the scientists have recently discovered that the reasons for this is to help the yogis and masters attain peace, is it provides them clear thinking. They discover that breathing through the nose causes stimulation in the brain, and that the steady focus of the rhythm of breathing can help you achieve different levels of brainwave activity. And I'm sure there's some yogis maybe here at the moment, and I know there's a lot of you that have also done or are doing NLP, and obviously, you know, one of the things that we do is we breathe in and we breathe out, and we breathe in and we breathe out, and we're trying to go into a time or a place where we're relaxed, and you know, and obviously that helps us to go into a deep state. So breathing is a really important part. I think that the challenge is that with life, with a phone call, with a bill, with you know, the mortgage payment or whatever it is, we tend to lose control a lot of times of what we breathe and how we breathe. Not what we breathe, how we breathe. We breathe what we give, what they give us. But what I'm saying is that we don't. Sometimes we need to just simply pause and just take a time, just take a moment, just to breathe, and simply breathe, and just breathe differently, and just control it. And if we get into that habit of doing that, I don't know, within an hour, you do that every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. You can put yourself a little reminder, a little clock, and you learn how to breathe. It's going to become a habit. Slowly, it's going to become a habit, and you're going to start feeling calmer. I do, when I find myself, you know, kind of a bit anxious and a bit nervous, or I've got a lot going on, it's taking that time to breathe, to relax, and obviously breathing will maintain you, you know, will help you not only think better, but it's also good for you. You can bring your heart rate down. And then the next subject is thinking. We've talked about this, and I've talked about this a lot of the times, that I struggle to see how so many people in personal and professional growth read all the books, attend all the seminars, but they keep on thinking crappy things. First of all, they're not aware of their thoughts. They say they are, but they're not. Excuse me, because their thoughts aren't empowering. So not only the thoughts aren't great, they don't think big enough. They aren't aware of that internal dialogue. They're not asking themselves empowering questions. So, my friend, thinking is it. Buddha says that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. And it's all about becoming. Life ultimately is about becoming. So when you get into that relaxed meditative states, you will notice that your thoughts begin to change, and you will get beyond the stress of every day to a more considered state, which is obviously ultimately what we all want. So, as I said, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily, you know, think in the right way, but you need to ask yourself, and this might be something that you need to open another, excuse me, open yourself another question. What am I thinking about? And be aware of your thoughts, and ask yourself, what do I normally think about? Am I thinking about positive things? Am I thinking about where I want to go in life? Am I thinking about lunch? Am I thinking about ways of me not going to the gym tomorrow? I don't know, but ask yourself, what are you thinking about? They say that there's between 12 to 60,000 thoughts every day. Yet the same research estimates that 98% of them are exactly the same as before. A lot of thoughts are definitely repeated. I believe in that. I'm not sure if it's 98% of them, and I hope not all of you are. But anyway, I have seen the way that by changing the way you think, you obviously change the way you feel. As Richard put it, you know, the way you think determines the way you feel, and the way you feel determines the way that you act or behave. So NLP has obviously been and is an extremely powerful tool, which will help you think, will help you think on purpose, will help you understand the quality of your thoughts, will help you change the quality of those thoughts, and overcome limiting beliefs. We've seen it and explored it, and where so many people have got rid of a phobia that they've had for 30 years within 15 minutes. And what happens when that happens is that people start asking themselves the questions, hold on a minute, if I've got rid of that limiting belief, and I was wrong about that, me being scared of spiders, me being scared of phobias, me being scared of boxes or closed places. If I was wrong about that, what else could I be wrong about? And that's what happens. And what happens is then you start changing the way you think. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, which I talk about in the book, in the book Cybernetics, talks about that your subconscious cannot tell the difference between a real memory or a vividly imagined visualization. So just make sure that you start thinking the right things, start visualizing the right things. When we're talking about thinking big, and again, a lot of us that are maybe NLP trained, we understand how we think, and we understand that a lot of us visualize and we see pictures. So when some of you say, oh no, I don't visualize, and I say to you right now, what's the color of your car? You've instantly seen your car and the color of your car. If I say, what's the color of your front door? You've done the same. So we all visualize. There's a quality into that visualization. Some people visualize better, some people visualize worse. People that have really big anxieties, phobias, or for example, snakes and spiders, make really big pictures in their mind. So, the snake and spider is beyond, the size you would see on a screen. And people that are very driven do the same, but they do it towards things that they are driven towards, i.e. if I want to build a machine, or I want to invent something, or I want to build a business, they visualize a whole process. They see it in really big pictures. So it drives them, it attracts them. So visualization is a really important part, and spending some time thinking, visualizing, meditating around the things that you want and focusing on the things that you want will obviously help you get there. So when you quiet your mind to visualize, you improve your ability to focus. The more you visualize and the better you get at it, the better your overall focus becomes. Done wisely, it helps you relax. It's a kind of meditation and can help you reduce stress. By thinking precisely about what you want, you help set your unconscious mind to work to achieve it. Improve your self-image. The more you see the ideal you, going through all the things that you need to do, exercising, how great you will look once you exercise, how much weight you've lost, how much people admire you, how many new clothes you have to buy. Visualize that in great detail. And the more you do that, the more of a reality it will become. When you vividly imagine achieving your goals, you trigger a whole series of subconscious processes that will help you reach those targets. Yes, Ranak is saying that visualization is an extremely powerful tool. It is an extremely powerful tool. And I don't think a lot of us or a lot of people out there necessarily understand the power of it. In the book I talk, on page 141, I talk about timelines. I'm not sure how many of you have done timelines. Timelines is a really powerful, there's people that teach timelines, but we run timelines in the Master Practitioner course. And it's an extremely powerful tool. I run them in the legacy clubs as well. When I coach people, I like taking them through the process of a timeline of them seeing their life in a year from now, in 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And you take them so they could see what they would see, hear what they would hear, and feel what they would feel. And I take them into a year, take them into 3 years, take them into 5 years, take them into 10 years. And what's amazing is you see what you saw, but you see what did you learn, and who supported you, who helped you, who really encouraged you, who didn't encourage you, what would you do differently. And what happens is when you go to the future and then you turn around back and you come all the way back from the future, all the way back down to the present, all of a sudden your priorities have changed many times. So the things that you thought were important weren't, because hey, in 10 years from now, the things that might have been important then now aren't important then. But you're bringing all these learnings back. And then what happens with the timeline is we encourage people to bring those teachings, those learnings back. And then when you look back in the present, looking back into the future, having gone into the future and come back, if that makes sense to you, then you have all these phenomenal teachings and learnings. So timelines is extremely powerful. Highly recommend. Go and find an NLP practitioner. Come to the NLP practitioner course, or find an NLP practitioner that can help you go through timelines. Extremely, extremely powerful. I've done many. I've done quite a few over the years, myself personally, and it's mind-blowing. Then I talk about the law of attraction. Now, I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in the law of attraction, and I know a lot of people, I believe that in the law of attraction with action, okay? The law of attraction of manifestation, oh my God, I need £1 million. God, give me £1 million, or universe, give me £1 million, or, whatever it is, I can visualize £1 million in my drawer tomorrow. Well, that's just not going to happen, mate. Let me just break the news to you, mate or friend. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to go out there and put some work in. There's no doubt. But what I do believe is that if you manifest, if you open, if you're open to achieving what you want, you visualize where you want to go in life, you see that new you, the best you see that reality of you having lost weight, written the book, published author, running this phenomenal business, retiring, traveling, whatever it is, visualize that in as much detail as possible. And then be open to asking for it. I mean, I know a lot of you must have practiced this. I hope you have, some of you. Have you done parking when you do your cosmic ordering and you say, I want a car park, you know, I'm driving, you need that in London. I'm looking for a car park, even with a motorbike, you need it. And then all of a sudden, you know, you put the order in, and when you get there, there's a car park. I tell you, it works. What I'm experiencing now, I don't know why, but what I'm experiencing now is that I believe this for a long time. I talk about serendipity in the book, and I talk about things happening for a reason. You're here for a reason. You're on this webinar for a reason. There was a course, an email, something happened whenever it happened, but you're here now for a reason. And I might say something for a reason. You might connect with someone in the webinar for a reason. Every single thing happens in life for a reason. There's no doubt in my mind. I think the moment you start realizing that things are there, you know, for you to take, if you attract it, you will get it. But what will also happen is if you open your senses, I don't know how many of you have seen this. I don't know, you maybe wanted to buy a car, or you wanted to go on holiday somewhere, and all of a sudden every magazine, every article, or every car on the road is that vehicle that you're looking at. Or these things happen for a reason. Well, it's the same when you attract negative energy, or you attract negative people or negative thoughts. Those people, oh my God, I'm going to catch a cold. Oh, he's sneezing. Oh, am I going to catch a cold? Oh, am I going to catch a cold? You catch a cold. So it's the same thing for negative thoughts. It's the same thing for positive thoughts. But I believe that and it's happened to me now, and I'm really realizing, because I'm really opening my senses to it. I am meeting people for a reason. I'm talking about specific things for a reason. So for example, the Legacy Club. And then I met someone at the Legacy Club, and we were talking about channeling. We were talking about wisdom. And then I saw a talk that someone recommended me that was on TED Talk. And then I recommended that talk to someone else. All these things are linked. So you need to be open to the law of attraction. You need to make sure you put the work in. Okay, you have to get up from 9 to 5. You can't be sleeping on the beach and doing it. I believe in that. But I believe to be open to the law of attraction, making sure that anything and everything can happen. Mimi says that the law of attraction is often misunderstood, and our vibe attracts our tribe. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think a lot of people just believe it's a lot of a lot of woo-woo, and it's not. I believe that, you know, things can manifest if you are in the right mind, if you are open to it, and if you attract the right things, and if you put work in. I absolutely want to believe it. And then central to the law of attraction is the idea of gratitude. So, well, I talk about The Secret. Obviously, who hasn't read The Secret? I mean, it's a phenomenal product. I take it with I touch it with a pinch of salt, but you know, there's some really great, talented people there, and obviously still a great read. They did really well with that book. But obviously, central to the law of attraction is the idea of you know, being grateful. And I don't think that we are grateful enough. I think sometimes, you know, we don't thank. Can you tell us what that TED called is, please? I will. I'll have to get my phone in a minute and tell you. It's the author of Eat, Pray, Love. It's a TED Talk. It's got 17 million views. I can give it to you in a minute. Because I just bought her book because I listened to her talk on TED Talk. Eat, Pray, Love is her book, and but I'll come back to you and give it to you in a minute if you bear with me. Just my phone's over there, Julian. Gratitude. So gratitude. Be grateful, my friends. Thank those that have helped you. Thank those that have supported you. Thank God. Thank Buddha. Thank Allah. Thank whoever you want, but thank for what you have. Sometimes we're so focused on what we need. We're focused on what's next. We're focused on what we haven't got yet when we're not grateful for what we have. We're going to be talking in other webinars about how grateful we should be, considering how worse off. There's billions of people around the planet, how worse off they are. You and I and us are in such a much better place. We've got a computer, we've got a phone, we've got internet. We can see, we can hear, you know, so absolutely be grateful for what you have. and maybe writing down what you're grateful for and maybe giving them a call will make you feel better. And that's one of the things that I think people that attract a negative. So I was in Bucharest this weekend, as we launched a legacy club over there, and there was this girl there, young girl, and she's in a period where she's transitioning. Okay, she's going from, I don't know, a very negative person to starting to do some courses and seminars. But she was telling me that due to the communism, she was young, 28, 30. So I don't know what communism she saw in Romania. Maybe her mum did. But due to the communism, they just have this frame of mind that things aren't supposed to happen, blah, 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 blah. Look, people that complain, I'm sorry, they deserve all the negativity that they get. Complaining is being negative. People that don't realize that, they live in, I don't know where they live. People are constantly and permanently complaining, oh my God, I've had to wait 10 minutes in the queue to get a cup of tea, or wow, I've got half an hour delayed in the tube. You're complaining, you're whinging. So please be aware of what you're whinging about. Be aware of, are you a moaner? Ask yourself, am I a moaner? Am I a crybaby? Do I moan a lot? Do I complain a lot? Am I grateful enough? Ask yourself these empowering questions, my friend, and make sure that you're honest, okay, with yourself, because there's so many people out there, and people that complain are negative. Sorry, I got to say, and it's negative energy. I don't know. Listen, I can't see auras, but I can feel energy. When someone's coming into a room and they're positive, you can feel it. When someone's negative and they're walking into a room, it's terrible. That's it. Thank you, Elizabeth Gilbert. That's it. Thank you. That's the one. Gillian, thank you so much. Love Google. Most kids nowadays are moaners. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of kids are. I think a lot of kids probably learn it from their parents. I think if you're positive all the time, they just have to get on with it and just be positive. But look, I get it. Sometimes life is a bit wrong, but again, be grateful with what we have. Navina Dimitrov, amazing things, how amazing things started happening since I started ignoring a few people around me share their opinion about my decisions not being profitable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, be prepared to lose friends. Okay. Be prepared to lose friends. Be prepared to lose negative people. Look, it's too much work trying to change people's lives. It's too much work to change people that don't want to change. If people want to be negative, trust me, they're going to be negative. You can try and help them. You can give them some NLP. You can do some NLP on them. But if they carry on being negative, just let them get on with it and just go and find a hashtag I love positivity friend out there, okay? Because there's loads of them. So, I'm literally finishing kind of you and your surroundings. I'm just trying to see if there's anything here that I might have missed out. Look at the positive things that you have in your life. The same as you might be asking yourself if you are negative, just in order to understand if you are, so you're aware of it, really write the things that you should be grateful for or the people you should be grateful to, and then look at the things that are positive in your life. My life was positive because I have, positivity. And then my life was positive this, how can I become more positive? Who is positive in my life? What could be positive in my life? How could I become more positive? I don't know. Look at ways where you're starting to put yourself in the right frame of mind. Remember, the whole book is about asking yourself empowering questions. And Richard has this mantra, which is shut the fuck up, excuse my French. And that one works really, really well. If your internal dialogue doesn't listen to you, that one works really well. But shush your internal dialogue, especially if it's not helpful. So that's it, my friends. We've done 49 minutes, basically. I am here now. I like the law of attraction section resonated with me. Thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for being here. As I said, I don't have all the answers. I share my thoughts and processes. In the book, I've really reviewed a lot of history. I reviewed how I believe successful people, entrepreneurs, inventors, creators have asked themselves empowering questions. I do believe it's that basic about asking yourself and teaching yourself to ask yourself empowering questions, being aware of your internal dialogue and thinking properly. I believe you're obliged to become the best version of yourself. I believe you're obliged to find out what your passion is, what your purpose is. You live once. Remember, you have a countdown here. that we're mortals. Okay, you're not here forever. You don't know, so you don't know how long you've got. So start taking action now. Stop procrastinating. Stop bullshitting. Stop lying to yourself. Stop, not taking action regarding the things that you need to do regarding your health, your mind, and we're going to carry on working. We're going to carry on working and discussing the ideas of finding purpose next, and then hopefully, ultimately, once you find your purpose, then you should ultimately be able to leave a legacy, which is what we should do. I think we're all here for a reason. What is that reason? That's what we need to explore. So I've always, I've loved these webinars. I've got nearly 200 people registered today, and obviously there's not 200 people here today. Some of them I know go and view the recordings afterwards, but I believe life happens for those that show up. So I want to thank you for being here. If you have any friends that are interested in kind of the things that I'm doing, either the question, the best you, or any of the NLP trainings, please feel free to get in touch with me. You can send me an email to info@thebestyou.co. Always available. I would like you to read a little bit more about the question and the different options we've got as far as books, e-course, www.thequestion.co. I would also like you to check out the Legacy Club, www.thebestyoulegacyclub.com. It's becoming a global phenomenon. It is the next big thing, I think, and I believe it's going to make a massive difference in people's lives. That's my legacy, helping people find their legacy. And if there's anything else, let me see what Jess says. How do I rewatch this video for motivation? Such great advice. Just wake up call. I need it. Thank you so much, Jess. Look, this webinar is recorded. It will be available, I don't know, probably by Friday, maybe on Monday. But anyway, within a week. If you go back to thequestion.co, all the previous webinars are always going to be there. So it will be there at some point. I'm not sending emails out at the moment, inviting people, but it will be there in thequestion.co. So thank you, Jess. Where do you find it? Yes, that's it, thequestion.co, Mimi. That's where you're going to find all the recordings of the webinars. I'm going to put them all there. I've got on my Instagram, I put daily posts and questions that I ask you or questions I ask you to ask yourself. I'm going to be doing some short videos in there. I do some Instagram lives on the question. So keep an eye out on that. You can find it at thequestion.bernardo-moya or bernardo.moya, something like that. Anyway, the question Bernardo Moya, you'll find it. And my one is Bernardo_Moya, I think it is. Sorry, terrible, but you'll find me. I've got quite a few followers on that. Thebestyou.co. Any of you interested in getting involved in the expo or getting involved in the events that we're doing, I'll be delighted to help you. But I want to thank you so much for being here. I will stop recording now, but I normally stay on for a few more minutes in case any of you wanted to ask me a question. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and may the best be with you. And remember, ask yourself empowering questions, because the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask yourself. There you go. Take care.